Hey folks, my name is Rene Enriquez and you are watching Uncensored.
This is Rene Enriquez. Nickname Bootser. Blackhand of the Mexican Mafia. Prison gang politics.
Hey folks, my name is Rene Enriquez and you are watching Uncensored. Welcome back to another episode of the Making of the Black Hand. We're going to finish off this video today. I'm going to give you my thought process as to what was going on here. And for a recap to everybody, this is the video tape series where I met with Chris Blatchford and Richard Valdemar, and we discussed the book. We had began doing interviews, and we tape recorded them, and we did audio recordings and phone calls. But from here, we extracted the skeleton of the Black Hand, and you'll see some of the conversation from this video in the book itself, right, verbatim, right. So we're going to run this video. We're going to see how you like it. And again, I'll stop it and pause and give you my thoughts. And I'll give you a couple of stories that went behind these stories. So here we go. We're going to run this video now. I hope you enjoy it. And let me remind you guys to always like, subscribe, share a comment. Watch the video in its entirety. All videos. Watch them in their entirety. You help the channel that way. If you could hype the video, it's really important to promote the channel. I know some of you people can't afford by becoming members, but we also have memberships available to you. If you really want to support the channel, it's a great way to do it. We have buy a cup of coffee for the team. There's a few ways to do it. But if you can't afford to become a member or buy a cup of coffee for the team, if you can't afford to buy merch on www.realreneenriquez.com, if you can't afford any of those things, then you could support the channel by hyping it and watching the video in its entirety. That's a great way. It boosts up our watch time, and the more watch time we have, the more the video pays. So, you know, it always costs to produce. You know, we can't do this on our own because it costs money to edit, produce, get it out there. All this costs resources. Did I say costas right now? I said costas, didn't I? Damn ghetto ass. Once in a while, I catch myself. I was talking to somebody the other day. They said more upper. I said more upper. They said yeah, more upper. Uh, and I just find it hilarious when we slip and do that, right? But yeah, it costs to produce videos, and we don't have our hand out. We really don't, you know, because I think we give back so much to the community that supports us, and you guys are those people that support us. You know, without your support, this channel is nothing. I've always said from day one, this is your channel, and it becomes what you want it to become. Like you asked me for content, longer form content, I do that. You ask me for these types of videos, I do that. I do wired, I do everything, right? Short of dancing topless on YouTube. I might dance bottomless, but not topless. That's a comment from a viewer the other day that says, hey, you're dancing topless on YouTube. No, I'm not. You know, any video you see of my face is decades old, right? Like this is 2002, this video here. That's 24 years old, this video. So any video you see of me is prior to appearance change, right? But anyways, you can support the channel by watching the video in its entirety. If you're blessed and you want to bless the channel, there's a number of ways to do that. You can donate to the channel. There's a gifting button. Nadine can tell you about that. She always jumps on there and advises people how to do it because I don't even know how to do it. There's buy a cup of coffee for the team. There's becoming a member. There's hyping the video. There's watching the video in its entirety. Yeah, there's a bunch of ways, and we appreciate every bit of your support. That's why we do Q&As. That's why I jump in and answer comments personally. That's why I interact on Instagram and TikTok, and I send you guys voice recordings to acknowledge you. So, I mean, there's a number of ways to do it. I answer your emails. So, you know, I'm just trying to make this channel the very best channel in this genre that there is, right? and I hope you guys can recognize that. And I'm not looking for the recognition, really not. I'm just trying to do the very best for the channel. All right, here we go. Let's run this video. Without further ado, here I am, the arrogant asshole, 24 years ago.
It was a
You
Tracy.
just spoke about- How did you feel that about that?
It was elated. It was like a sense of power. I mean, you do something like this, and I know it sounds sick. I know it really does, but you get jazzed up on it. I mean, your adrenaline's flowing. It's like, wow, how do you equate this? It's like an accomplishment. You feel this sense of raw power. You inflicted violence on an individual for the organization. You did it and got away with it, and you're pumped up, adrenaline's flowing, and you're just, yeah.
But you're scared, aren't you?
I was shaking. I was
On the
shaking.
way.
On the way. I mean, anybody who says they're not scared to do these things is pretty much lying. You're going to take a human life, and you've never done this before.
Plus, you're under the gun.
You're under the gun. They're going to shoot at you.
You're a kid, really. 21.
But I went and did it, and I felt totally jazzed about it.
Yeah, that feeling, it's unlike anything you've ever experienced. And it does sound sick. I mean, in retrospect, you look back at it, and you have all these emotions. You're anxious, you're afraid, your adrenaline's flowing, your hands are shaking. I didn't like to smoke cigarettes when I went and did hits because my hands would shake, and it would be a noticeable shaking, right? So I wouldn't smoke cigarettes. And even after, I wouldn't smoke cigarettes until like I was calmed down and the adrenaline flowed out of me. But there was this kind of sense of a rush. I don't think it was like like an enjoyment. I didn't get enjoyment or pleasure from it. I didn't feel those. I mean, that would be kind of weird, right? But there are guys that really did get pleasure out of doing this stuff, right? For me, it was just like, hey, you got to put in work. It's time. Let's go. Let's get it done. And that's how I felt. And that's how I felt about, doing this kind of stuff. It's okay. It's my turn. I'm going to do it. So that's what I did.
I totally jazzed. This is cool.
And it went pretty well.
It went pretty well. I got away with it scot-free.
Yeah.
I didn't get caught or anything. I mean, we did so many hits and got away with them. It's just ridiculous. That's how loose it was back then. But after you do it, it's not the immediate feeling that you get. It's after. People look at you differently. He's a pistolero. He's a shooter. He's a doer. Watch out for that guy. And he's hooked up with the brothers. The brothers respect that guy. If the brothers respect him, I better respect him. So that translated into respect in the prison population. Unfortunately, the status mobility system in your society is education, financial success. That's how you guys move up the ladder. And unfortunately, in the prison world, it's violence. That's our status mobility system. We move up the ladder by whacking people. And that's how you progress towards membership. I mean, there's broader criteria for membership other than the willingness to commit violence, but that's one of the fundamental requirements as a member.
That is really, it holds true today, right? Like say in corporate America, you take exams, you get a degree, and you get an advanced degree, and then you promote, and there's a system to elevate your status, right? It's called the status mobility system. Every society has them. Every organization and bureaucracy has them, right? Some people fail upwards, right? And a lot of large bureaucracies, you see inept and incompetent leadership, kind of like what's happening in the CDCR now. Incompetent leadership. I mean, that's a failed system, and we all know it. But I digress. So we're talking about the status mobility system, and that's it for the mob. It's violence, right? It's not your intellect. It's not your articulacy. It's not your intelligence. It's your willingness to spill blood for the organization. We call it the death row attitude. You got to have it. Like, I'm going to death row, and I want you to know my name. You're going to remember my name. That's the mentality I had, right? That I wanted to go to death row. I really did. I wanted to go to death row. I wanted to go down in the annals of the organization as a carnal that would do a hit anywhere, anytime, and get it done. And that's what I vied for, right? Once, I knew that, that this was my life. That's what I was going to do. But it's kind of a contradiction because I always knew I was going to drop out at some point. Even in the first couple of years, I know, man, this is kind of crazy. I knew it. It was kind of crazy, this politicking, this infighting, this lack of financial success, a lack of really strong centralized leadership. There was a lot of things wrong that I saw immediately. But at first, I was enamored, like any other person. You get caught up in the allure of power and the megalomaniacal sense of self, right? Um, and you could I kind of see that right here too. It's still in me even after I dropped out. You know, it's kind of hard to just shake it off. You know, just like it's off of me now. I think that this is a transition of a human being here, right here. I'm looking at it, right? I'm looking at it, and I'm saying, well, I was nowhere near the man I am today, not reflected in this video, because I'm still gloating and I'm still arrogant and I'm still not ashamed of what I done, right? And I'd be lying to you if I said that I was ashamed of everything I've done, um, because I'm not. I'm not. You know, I think that, you know, and it's far be it from me to judge or say this, but it really is the truth. Some of those people got what they deserved. I don't know how else to say it. You know, people that kill kids and stuff like that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I will never go back on that. That's my firm belief. Like you hurt a kid, and you know there should be no second chances. But I digress again. But isn't that the beauty of these videos? That we go into these tangents and thoughts about this process right here. You know, this is not what's captured on video, right? All this stuff's going through my head when I'm sitting here, you know, and maybe not this exact stuff, but you know, when you engage in a conversation, when I engage in a conversation, I'm only as good as the person prompting me, right? If you engage me in a conversation and you're talking about rocks on the street, right, or trees in the park, I'm only as good as your conversation, right? I can respond to what you ask me or prompt me to do, right? Kind of like in any conversation, right? If somebody talks to you about cars, you can't talk about thermonuclear physics. You can't talk about, you know, astronomy or astrology. You're talking about cars, right? But when I'm watching this, we're talking about one specific topic, but it spawns all this other stuff in my head. Like, oh yeah, I remember. This is how I felt, and so that's what I love doing right here. I love engaging you guys this way, and I really hope you appreciate it. We're going to continue with the video.
I mean, in all Canada, a lot of guys can't do that then, really, right?
A lot of guys, they do it, but their heart's not in it. You'll see it. I mean, there's this one.
I mean, everybody's not stabbing everybody.
No, there's only an elite
still a
group.
small group.
We're 1% of the overall prison population of 160,000 individuals. I think it's 166,000. And the individuals that are considered core gang members or core affiliates are 1% of the population in California.
So define them. So who ends up doing it? People who just want more status, or what?
People who want status. They're on the track to becoming carnales, but they're not projecting that image to the membership. You understand? You're on a track to become a member, and you know that you're on a track towards.
I could see it, like my head held slightly higher, and you see it's posturing, right? It's posturing. It's command presence. I'm seeing it right now, and that's the arrogance, right? Like I'm lifting my head when I speak, and I'm being kind of authoritative in the subject matter. So I'm seeing that, and I'm evaluating it. So I'm looking at the body language as well. I'm wearing prison garb. This is actually a t-shirt and a pair of sweats. I was in a substation, so I was dressed casually. I mean, it didn't have a really broad selection of clothing there, just casual clothing. The clothing was brought to me by family members, but I could see it. I could see it. I see the mustache. I see the hair slicked back. I see the prison attire. My hands crossed over my knees. I'm sitting casually, but it kind of projects. I'm closed off, kind of like putting your hands in front of your chest, defensive. So I'm looking at the body language.
Act and position and status in the prison life, but you can't project that.
Yeah.
It can't be seen as your Johnny Eager Beaver.
It's like the Skull and Bone Society. You don't apply to be one. They ask you.
Exactly.
You put yourself on the track and you build your resume. So that
Exactly.
they will ask you.
That is exactly how it goes. Exactly how it goes. Exactly. But at that point in time, yeah, I was on the fast track. I was on it. I mean, I was doing hits. I was known in San Quentin. I had met some high-ranking members. Then I ended up in Folsom doing hits after nobody asked me to do them. I just went and did those racially motivated hits because it was a time of war. And Sammy had told me I was going to do some hits, and I told me, I'll go with you. I took it upon myself to take care of those people. And that was well respected in the eyes of the Mexican Mafia. So I had maybe 4 or 5 hits under my belt. And
Well, when you're going to stab the black guys, what are you thinking? I mean, you're outnumbered.
was scared. I was in my shower shoes and my boxers, and my knife was in my towel. It was a big, big knife, big, massive, scary.
Made out of what?
Aluminum, flat, like 1/4-inch thick aluminum, double-edged all the way down, razor sharp.
From a bunk or something?
I think they got it from Industries.
Yeah.
Knives are a dime a dozen up there. I mean, they have some brutal-looking weapons up there. I'm sure you've seen some
Yeah.
through the IGIs and the SNI.
Yeah.
They have brutal. It was a brutal knife. But it was so big, it was sticking out of the top of the roll, the towel roll. So I walked out of my house like I'm taking a shower. My shower shoes, my boxers, and I'm walking out here with a big old roll. And anybody who knows anything about prison knows there's a knife in there. But the victims obviously didn't know that, and the cops didn't know it. I thought that was so obvious because I was feeling so nervous. I even made the sign of the cross before I went out because I thought, we're right here, this close to the guy with the Ruger 223 Mini 14. And we're going to do this right in front of him. We're going to get blasted because you get shot in these things. I mean, they really shoot people. They kill people for this. The guards, I mean, it's a sport. It becomes a sport to the CDC. If you see somebody putting something down, pop them. This becomes a sport to them.
This was right before the implementation of all shots fired for effect, right? And they put up these signs, no warning shots in the prisons, right? And there were no warning shots. They were shooting to kill. If they saw a weapon or using lethal force, like kicking somebody in the head, they were going to shoot you. They'll give you one, get down, and if whoever's not down is getting shot. And they did. They fired twice at me with this 223, and I was kind of nervous when I went and did that. You know, this is the big house. We're on a darkened tier on the 3rd tier 3 block, it's really spooky. You know, it could be broad daylight, but you're down the end of the tier where there's no lights. It's a death trap, really. And I'm on a tier at the very end with myself and nothing but BGF and Crips and all that. It's like a bad place to be. It's a bad place. It's like you're gonna get whacked in there if you don't do something, right? So I was gonna do something. I did. You know, I did. And I'm not making light about it. I mean, I'm truly thankful the guy survived that. And but it really was a violent place, and those feelings like you're gonna go do a hit, that's gonna be right here, it's gonna be right in front of the cops, you're gonna get caught, and you might get shot. So you're dealing with all that in your head as you're prepping, you know, and you got to go out in shower shoes. You got to look like you're going to take a shower. So I'm in boxers, the white state boxers, and a t-shirt, much like the t-shirt I'm wearing there, and this big towel roll with a knife sticking out of it, right? And the cops are just looking at me. And I was like, they know what's going down. They know it. They got to know it. How can you not know it, right? And I even think the gunner gave us, the gun rail officer with the lethal weapon up there, I even think they fired 2 rounds just for a cosmetic appearance, right? Because we're so close to the gunner. I felt the percussion when the round was discharged. I smelt the cordite, right? Oh my God, that was intoxicating. After shooting in the prisons, you smell that smell, the discharged round, and you could smell it. And it reminded me always of going hunting with my dad. It reminded me of that, or pinging targets out in the desert, you know, or shooting rabbits, whatever it was. It reminded me of that every time I did something and I smelled that smell after they fired a round at me, or if something happened adjacent to me or near me and I'd smell that aroma. It reminded me of that.
It really literally did in Corcoran. I'm sure you're familiar with that phenomenon that we're killing people just for the fun of it. So it's a dangerous task to go stab somebody because there are no warning shots. They do kill you. So it's pretty much you're putting your life in the hands of the mission. You know, you're taking your own life in your own hands. So I was scared. I mean, I got scared every time I did something. I think if I had to do something in the future, if my life was on the line or something, I'd be scared. I always feel that feeling when you commit an act of violence or there's a precarious nature in what you're doing. I mean, there's this threat. You always feel that.
See that tattoo right there? That's one of the first tattoos I got when I was a carnal. It said "Eme" in really tiny print, right? That's a sombrero right here. But that's the first one I did in my cell in Folsom State Prison after I became a carnal. I put "Eme" right there. Wow. No longer have it, but had tattoos removed. But yeah, that's what it was.
Athlete feels it. I mean, I think anybody.
Multiply that 1,000 times.
Yeah.
Multiply it 1,000 times. You're scared. You're nervous. You know you might get killed. You know you're going to kill somebody. And then there's the excitement to worry about getting caught.
Adrenaline junkie.
The adrenaline thing. It's the edge. Type A personality. You're on your edge of your seat. But you're ready to go. You're ready to go. The gunshot was so close, I felt the percussion from it. Poof. That's how close it was.
This is in the black guy stand.
This is the black guy, yeah.
Did you ever know who those guys were?
Didn't know him from Adam.
And still to this day don't?
Didn't know him. Don't know him. They know me, apparently.
Yeah.
But don't know him.
Well, jump up to the point where, like, you become a made guy.
Well, you want me to tell you the initiation process, what happened?
Yeah.
I go to,
And how old are you?
I'm 22.
So you're the youngest ever, right?
No,
No?
I think there's, maybe Shy and those guys were pretty young when they got made before that. They were getting made like 18, 19, you know. But I'm one of the young guys. I'm one of the young guys. I'm a younger guy. And, I guess they see my charisma and my status. And I'm not saying that I'm a charismatic individual or anything like that. But I guess you have to have this quality. I mean, here are charismatic leadership type individuals with strong personalities and type A personalities, and they attract each other. So you have to have something that attracts these type of leadership guys. You have to have some quality that they see as that's attractive to our organization, and we want to make you part of it. So obviously I had something that they desired.
True. You have to have something. I mean, you can't be a woolly lump and expect to get made, right? You have to have some standout quality, whether it's eliminating people, whether it is your business acumen. There has to be something in you that attracts the attention of a potential sponsor into the organization, right? Because you have to be sponsored into the organization by a member of good standing. That guy becomes your padrino, your godfather, and he grooms you, he educates you, he vets you, he puts your name up for a vote, and then they school you, and then boom, once the vote passes, you're inducted into the organization. So you have to have like a compelling trait that they see, you know. But again, this is the Edgar generation mob, and there's guys getting in that I never heard of before, and of course I'm not going to know everybody. No one guy can know everything about the mob, right? So, I would think that the corruption of the induction process has gone pretty far to where there are guys that are being made that should never have been made. But if you look at it that way, if you really look at it, I should have never been made, you know, because I didn't have the ability to hang and last like you're supposed to. Like you're supposed to go out on your shield. I didn't go out on my shield. Heck no, I ain't going on my shield. No way. I want to live. So I mean, if you look at it that way, then I didn't have what it took. I was a mistake. You know, I was detrimental to the organization, and every Cardenal that dropped out was, because they're a library of information. A Cardenal becomes a warehouse of mob intel, and when they drop out, that goes straight to the cops. And I don't care who you are. I don't care what you say. If you debriefed, and you had to debrief on everything. That's all. Everybody that's dropped out of the mob has done that, right? And there is a differentiation between dropouts and PCs, right? If you weren't a member of the organization, then you're not a dropout, because every PC, every swinging dick on those PC yards says they're a dropout, and they're not. They are not. So there is that distinction, right? I think that validates them in their twisted sense of importance, self-importance. Like, oh, I'm a dropout. No, you're not a dropout, bro. You never even dropped in. So how the hell are you going to be a dropout, right? I say this because I see every channel out there, a guy saying, I'm a dropout, or whatever. Yeah, okay. I mean, that's your self-validation. Okay, whatever. But you have to be a member to be a dropout, you know, or a high-level camarada to be a dropout. You dropped out of the organization.
So it's about that time that Widow Shy and Dan Barella start coming to my cell and giving me haircuts and talking to me, and they start grooming me.
And this is at what prison now?
Folsom State Prison in Shoe 2. This is at a time where they let you go into another man's cell and have a haircut, and we'd go to the yards, group yards, of like 50 individuals on the yard, and I'd go on walks with them. Joe Morgan was my pinochle partner, and Chewy,
Martinez?
yeah, Chewy Vianney. And we used to call him Brutus.
I swear we used to call him Brutus. He was a big old dude, right? big old bully-looking guy. But he was a sweetheart, a gentle soul. I mean, that's contradictory, I know, to people out there. Say he killed people or he eliminated people. Yeah, but he was a gentle soul. He was a laid-back dude, the best friend you could have, loyal guy. You know, just Shy and Black Dan were the same way. They were soft-spoken. Well, Shy wasn't. Shy was kind of like a. You heard his voice in the videos that I've done, and it's a commanding voice, right? But Black Dan and Chewy were the complete opposite. They were laid back. They were like totally cool and chill individuals. That's the guys I remember, and those were my buds. Joe Morgan wasn't my bud, but Black Dan, Widow Shy, and Chewy were my buds.
Bluto. He never understood I think at that point in time, he didn't understand who Brutus was. The betrayer. Remember Ed 2 Brute when he killed Julius Gaius Caesar?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, but we used to call him Brutus. And we used to play Pinochle.
Let me make a distinction right now. He wasn't called that because he was a betrayer, as in the Ides of March, right? The Ides of March, when the Senate killed Julius Gaius Caesar, right? You're into this mythology and the history. You'll know that Brutus was his ace cum boom. Brutus was like his right-hand man. It was his buddy, right? And he inflicted the final blow. After the Senate went out there and stabbed Julius Gaius Caesar, Brutus pulled out a big old sword and whoosh, he stabbed Julius Gaius Caesar. And Caesar looked up to him and said in Latin, "Et tu, Brute? Et tu, Brute?" And says, "And you also, Brutus?" Right? But there was a Brutus in the Popeye cartoons and Bluto, right? That's the guy we're talking about, not the betrayer.
Black Dan, Chewy, and Joe Morgan. Every yard, we go out there and play. And Joe Morgan used to cheat. Because we used to play Pinochle, and you know, you declare your melt when you bid. Do any of you play Pinochle?
I don't know.
Well, you actually have to display the cards to show that you have a specific amount of points. But we do this on the honor system. And we just declare our melt.
Yeah, when you declare meld in Pinochle, you have to display your card to say, well, if I have double nuts or triple nuts, or have a round robin, or have a double run, whatever it is that you had to show it on the table. But even that, there was cheating. You could get a jack of hearts, and a jack of diamonds, and put the jack of diamonds over the jack of hearts, and put it on the table. And there was cheating. There was real cheating going on. And when I discovered Joe Morgan cheated, I was dumbfounded, right? I was like, this guy cheats, you know? This is like the guy, you know, and he cheats. And I was his partner, so I didn't say anything. I went along with it, right?
So, I have 2 round robins, double Pinochle, and I have 60 points here. And we'd add that in the tally. Well, one time, Joe Morgan declared a specific amount of points, and I knew he couldn't have had it because I had the cards in my hand. So I knew he was cheating. Joe Morgan was cheating in Pinochle, and it just surprised the heck out of me that he would cheat. I said, Joe's cheating, you know, Joe's cheating. I didn't say anything, but in my mind I said, Joe's cheating. I thought he was beyond this. He doesn't cheat, you know. But I became close with these individuals. And Black Dan and them started grooming me at this point in time.
Well, folks, there you have it. I was kind of enjoying that. I was kind of into that, you know, because I specifically remember that instance, you know, that he would cheat. And I remember the table that we sat at. It was me, Chewy, Black Dan, and Joe. And then when we weren't playing Pinochle, Chewy was always playing chess. He was a chess master, you know. And those were times that I remember that was kind of like the honeymoon period when I first got in. But even then, I would get like these streaks of paranoia, like, oh, I'm going to get whacked. I felt it even then. You know, there was no time that I was really comfortable in my skin as a mafioso. I don't think that it's that type of organization where you can feel comfortable and secure and you're okay. I never felt that. And I thank God I never felt that, because if I felt that, I probably would have stayed in and got whacked out, or I would have stayed in and never got out of prison. And I think that's what drove me to drop out eventually, you know, that continuous anxiety and the fear and the worry about, you know, your decisions and all those things. It's just a difficult life. It's an extremely difficult life. But with that said, folks, I think I'll wrap this up. We're gonna have some more of these editions coming, these episodes coming really soon. As always, folks, support the channel by hyping, leaving a comment, subscribing. You can support the channel in a number of other ways as well. You can buy a cup of coffee for the team. You could become a member. You could go to our channel, www.realreneenriquez.com. We sell merch there. There's a lot of ways you can support us, right? But if it's a simple task of watching the video in its entirety, that's good too. So thank you for the support. Always thank you for the support. Each of you have built this channel to what it is today, and I would be remiss, I would be derelict if I did not acknowledge that as much as I could. So thank you all. Thank you all for bringing us to where we're at today. I think we're top of the line in the prison genre and the true crime genre. We're going to get up there, bro, folks. Excuse me, bro. All right, bro. We're going to get there, bro. We're going to get there, bro. We are. We're going to get to that 100,000 subscriber mark. It's not really important, right? What is watch hours are important. Subscriptions are just subscriptions. They should make a channel look pretty. I'd like to get there, but I'm happy with what I got. If you're all I ever get, I'm happy with you right now, you know, because that's enough for me. All right, folks, I appreciate you. I acknowledge you, and I work hard for you. With that said, peace out. Be safe.
This is Rene Enriquez. Nickname Boots.